we went to some friends to stay in a different part of Kingwood, and they stayed dry. And so here's another part of my story. We knew that the Hurricane Harvey had already arrived, and so all the power was out in Kingwood before our house got wet. And so we were operating our house with a portable generator that I had in the backyard. Well, then the water came up, and so we left. And so we went to our friend's house, and they didn't have any power. And I said, oh, it's too bad, my generator just got flooded. And my friend said, let's go get it, and I can make it work. And so we walked back, and there's all these Cajun Navy boats all over Kingwood. And so we went to one of those, and we said, can you take me back to my house because I want to get my generator? And they were just so anxious to help anybody out, and do something useful, because there's so many boats out there that said, sure, get in here and let's go. And so we went in that boat to my house, and we went over the top of cars that were flooded in the street. It's a flat bottom boat. We went over the top. We went around the back of my house, over the top of the fence, and right up into my backyard. And he said, well, where is that generator? And I said, well, it's underwater. And but I said, it's right up against the back of the house here. And so he brought his boat up there, and I and another guy jumped out of the boat, and we picked up this big heavy generator and lifted it out of the water and put it in the boat, and took it back to dry land, took it to my friend's house. And he, being a super mechanic, he tore it all apart, and blew air and dried out the spark plug in the cylinders and so on, changed the oil, pulled the handle on it, and started. But,
in like an hour.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that was amazing. I never thought that, since it was underwater, that he'd be able to get it going. But it also was very interesting to me. It was a huge generator, about half the size of this table. And the fact that, he can lift something up out of the water because of all those buoyancy factors and so on. So anyhow, we rescued a generator. And we used it a lot then. Then as they did the reconstruction on our house, we didn't have any electricity for 3 or 4 months. And so all the workers used the power from that generator to start the rebuilding on my house. We had a lot of moral support from our church and close friends, and we never felt like we were facing this alone. And I was just witnessed a lot of different folks that did get really closely involved with groups that were meeting, kind of a self-help kind of a thing, to discuss the flood and how they could cope with it.
One thing I really felt that was really great, you just have to look at the good things, but, we got together with neighbors that, we never get together with, One of the neighbors had a big cookout one night, and, we all went there, and, you saw and talked to your neighbors that you just don't do that on a day-to-day basis.
There are certainly bright spots, and, living in a big city like Houston is, you don't really get to know a lot of your neighbors well. Well, so this happened, and I had never known Tom and Debbie. They're probably 10, 15 houses up the street from us. And so through this event, we've got to know them and now count them as friends. So that's a positive.
And it was great when right after it happened, so many people in the neighborhood, or even not on our street, would come by and they'd just say, "Do you need ice? Do you need?" Little kids would come with their moms. They'd bring sandwiches, and people we didn't even know.
A lot of parents used that flood as a teaching moment for their kids. How to be helpful.
I felt that it was really, really made you feel really loved and cared for, because so many people just got involved, and they wanted, like he said, they wanted to do anything they could to help us, and we'd have people bring us meals, and most of them were people we knew, but throughout the whole thing, it was just, the Lord just took care of us every day and, provided what we needed, and it was a long journey, but it was really blessed.
We were victims, but were able to do some things that helped us to help others. Like we worked with the Houston Food Bank and distributions of food products for probably went on for 6 months. After the flood. We'd get a shipment of food products from the Houston Food Bank. It went to one of the local churches here, and then we would once a week we would do food distributions, and it impressed me how thankful so many people were in order to have something like that. And not everyone is as fortunate as we are, and a lot of those folks really needed those foodstuffs, and so that was a good experience.